I think this microphone is on. I'd like to call the January 16th, 2025 meeting of the Franklin City School Board to order. Thank you all for coming. Do we have a motion to return to open session?
I motion that we return to open session.
Do we have a second? Any discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Do we have a motion for certification?
2.1. Pursuant to 2.2 -3711 of the Code of Virginia, I move that the Franklin City School Board convene. Wait, this is the last one. We need the open one. This is to turn into close.
This is the call to order. I'm not sure what has happened here.
Click 2.2 maybe. Certification 2.3. This is what we just did.
All right, let's do the motion again for certification of closed session.
That's 2.3. We need 2.3. There we go. Whereas the Franklin City School Board has convened a closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act. And whereas Section 2.2-3712.d of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by this school board that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law, and now therefore be it resolved that the Franklin City School Board hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, 1, only public business matters lawfully exempted by Virginia law were discussed in the closed meeting to which this certification applies, and 2, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of the motion for certification signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Would you join me with the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I think we have several motions from closed session. I will announce them individually. Do we have a motion to approve the personnel agenda as presented with the exception of item number 11?
So move.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Do we have a motion to approve item number 11 as written on our personnel agenda?
So move.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Any abstentions? We have one abstention. Do we have a motion to approve the non-resident student as presented?
I move to approve the non-resident student as presented.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Do we have a motion to approve the robotics field trip?
I so move.
We have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. That motion carries. Do we have a motion to approve the trip to North Carolina Wesleyan University with conditions.
So move.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Do we have a motion to approve our agenda as written?
I move to approve the agenda as written.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.
If you're not pressing the button, your votes are not being recorded. So every time you vote, you have, or second, or whatever, you have to press the button so that it is recorded.
We'll revote approval of our agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Roll call, Ms. Davis, please.
Dr. Carter,
Present.
Ms. Council,
Present.
Ms. Hunt, Mr. Holt,
Present.
Ms. Boone,
Present.
Ms. Parker,
Present.
Dr. Scott, Dr. Harrison.
Thank you. Under our consent agenda 3.1, we have the first reading of our minutes for December the 12th. We do not need to vote on that. We do have a second reading of our minutes on November 14th. So we do have to vote on that one. Do we have a motion to approve those minutes for November 14th?
I motion to accept.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Dr. Carter.
Thank you, sir. This week is Principals Appreciation Week. And for those who don't know, the job of principal is one of the most difficult jobs in America. And so we want to acknowledge the two principals that we have present today. Mr. Phelps, would you please stand? And Ms. Fair, would you please stand? I'm going to read a certificate of recognition by the governor. By virtue of the authority vested by the Constitution of Virginia and the governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia, there is hereby officially recognized Virginia School Principals Appreciation Week. Whereas the school principal works corporately to direct, develop, and inspire all members of the school staff and student body and to communicate effectively with parents to engage them in the learning process. And to whereas school principals serve as the educational leaders managing the policies, regulations, and procedures necessary to ensure a safe and effective learning environment for all students in Virginia public schools and private schools. And whereas the school principals serve as the instructional leaders, equipping teachers with training, resources, and developing personalized and innovative student programs to ensure every student has the opportunity to succeed. And whereas the school principal has entrusted the opportunity and responsibility of guiding, direct, nurturing, mentoring, imparting knowledge to our children while they are at school, and whereas school principals work collaboratively with teachers, staff, students, parents, and the community at large to proactively prepare students to be productive members of our economy, informed citizens in our democracy, and engaged neighbors in our communities. And whereas the Virginia School Principals Appreciation Week is the opportunity to recognize the hard work of Virginia school principals and to recognize the importance of school leaders in ensuring that every child has access to a quality education that prepares them for life. Now, therefore, I, the governor, Glenn Youngkin, do hereby recognize January 12th through 18th, 2025 as Virginia School Principals Appreciation Week in our Commonwealth of Virginia, and I call this observation to the attention to all citizens. So please give them a round of applause.
Thank you both and congratulations. And we certainly respect all the hard work done every day, every day. Dr. Carter, could you and Dr. Walters join me up front? We received this week 2 certificates of appreciation, and I'll read them. This one is presented to Dr. Clint Walters, Director of Operations, Franklin City Schools, for your dedication, assistance, and continued support to the Department of Franklin Parks and Recreation with youth volleyball. And it is signed by the officers of that group. So, Dr. Walters. That's yours. This one goes to a guy named Carter, I think. Dr. Carter, Superintendent, Franklin City Public Schools, for your dedication, assistance, and continued support to the Department of Franklin Parks and Recreation with youth volleyball. Dr. Carter, congratulations. Let's give both of these gentlemen a hand, please. Ms. Morrison.
Good evening, School Board, Dr. Carter. I'm going to present the December financials, starting off with the general fund. As of now, this is the way the financials look in the system. Our revenues are only 42% collected at the halfway mark of the year, and our expenditures are 51% spent at the midpoint of this year. If you look at the revenues, the state funding has fallen short of 50% due to the fact that the Virginia Department of Education still is paying us based on 926 ADM, and our budget reflects 945 ADM. So as the year goes on, and I'll mention the increase in state funding in a moment, as the year goes on, that will resolve itself. In addition to that, we have the city appropriation for capital needs of $330,000 and $874,000. Once those amounts are fully expended, we will be able to seek reimbursement from the city for those. So our revenue will be on track for this year. Next slide, please. Previous slide, please. Later in the presentation, I'll be asking the board to approve this budget amendment. When we received our additional state funding allocation, they put us at 1067 for average daily membership. And that's an increase of at least 100 students that we know of, and that is phenomenal. And we decided that instead of 1067, we would conservatively increase our budget by the state funding attributable to 1,040 residents, ADM. So this would be the budget amendment to record the $1.336 million in additional state funding that we got, categorically to align with budget goals. So if we were to record that proposed budget amendment, this is the way we would look. Our general fund budget would go from $17,782,000 to $19,119,000. And the expenditures would be only 48% expended at this point in time. Next slide, please. The textbook fund, we've spent $8,638 so far this year on textbooks. For the nutrition fund, we have collected 44% of our expected revenues. We've expended 40% of our expected expenditures. Next slide. When we're looking at federal grants, we do have a deficit of $2.3 million there, and that's because the roof projects are lumped in with federal grants, and we have $2.2 million in expenditures for the roofs that we have not been reimbursed for yet. We will be reimbursed through the literary loans as well as from the City of Franklin. Next slide. And this is what our overall total would look like without the budget amendment. Are there any questions on the increase in state funding?
Do we have a motion to approve the amendment to adjust our budget?
So move.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Thank you, Board.
Thank you, Tracy.
And the next thing I have is the December vouchers. If we could just flip through those, please.
Just for everyone's information, the board has seen these before, so we have had a chance to look over them.
Are there any questions on the voucher payments? Okay. The next thing I do have is one additional budget amendment, and that would be for the grant funding. The fiscal year 2023 grants are now expired. They had to be spent by the end of September 30th, 2024. And for these grants, this is the amounts that were unexpended at the end of that time period. The two largest ones are the RIPE and RARS grants, and those were primarily teacher education grants and stipends, and we did not have any employees that were in the specific course paths that the grant specified. And the other grants as well, either we spent them down to a nominal amount, or we didn't have any expenditures that we needed that met the specific stipulations of that grant. So I would like to recommend approval of this budget amendment to remove these from our books.
Do we have a motion to approve budget amendment BA 018?
I so move.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Great, that's all I have for this evening if there are no other questions. Thank you.
Good evening, Board. Dr. Carter, I'm excited to be able to share with you an update on where we are with several of our projects and operations. Let's start with Mod C. We have received delivery of the panel box, and our partners at Bay Electric are working diligently to finish that installation by the end of this week. We are looking to hand things over to Franklin Power and Light early next week so that they can make their connections. We have been in very, very close communication with the city. They have everything that they need to make that hookup. So as soon as Bay Electric completes their portion, we're going to be able to turn things over. I've also been in touch with the city inspector's office, and we have a plan to have the building inspected as soon as the power has been connected. The turnaround on that could either be the same day or the day after that request is made. So we're looking forward to completing this project in the very, very near future, and working very closely with Ms. Fair and our maintenance team. We anticipate moving teachers on Thursday, January 30th, and providing them some time on the 31st to prepare their spaces for students to enter their new classrooms that first day in February.
February 1st is a Saturday.
February 3rd.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I'm really excited that you see green on this map for HVAC. That demonstrates that all of the units that are being replaced at SP Morton that impact our students' classrooms and learning spaces have been installed. We are still working on just a few programming pieces, but JRC has been fantastic in making these programming pieces. So this is happening very quickly. Again, as I shared at our last work session, we're at least a month ahead of schedule with this. You may notice the star in the upper right-hand corner. The unit in room 408, as they were performing some of their tests, they identified an issue and have rectified that this week. So wanted to bring that to the board's attention, but all of the units have been replaced. They're just finishing up that programming piece, and we will be completed with that in the coming days.
So they've been replaced, but they're not operational yet?
Some of the units still need to be programmed in order for them to be operational, and so we're continuing to monitor what those spaces are like, keeping an eye on the temperatures, especially recently as things have been cold. Additionally, we are finished with our roofing projects at both SP Morton and Franklin High School. Met with Colin yesterday, and he is still preparing the warranty information for us, but all of that work has been completed. If you have been by SP Morton, you've likely still seen a little surplus insulation over on the cemetery side of the school. We are working with them to get that picked up because that isn't needed any longer. And just a touch base on where we are with our RFPs. We are going to be reissuing our RFP for custodial services at SP Morton Elementary School. There was a little bit of a hiccup getting that published, so we want to make sure that several vendors have ample opportunity to take a look at that, and so that will be posted tomorrow. And we are working to complete the RFP for playground installation. The playground was delivered on Wednesday, and so we're going to be working to solicit bids on the install. We're going to make sure that they are licensed and that they are familiar with the playground equipment that we have selected for the elementary school. In going back to the architectural services that I've shared, we're going to pivot slightly from an RFP to a PPE, and that is a public-private partnership that falls under the Public-Private Education Infrastructure Act of 2002. We're continuing to gather some additional information on this, but essentially it is, as it sounds, a public-private partnership. So we're going to be working with a consultant that's going to help guide us through this process. They're helping us take a look at our entire capital improvement plan, helping us to determine funding sources, and ultimately to help us save just a little bit of money as we accomplish these several tasks. But more information on that, but there is a lot that's going on in the background right now. And it is that time of year again for us to begin conversation regarding the calendar for the upcoming school year. I know several of you are thinking it's January, let's just let it be January, but it's a really good time to start having conversation about how we're going to structure our calendar for the upcoming school year. I have emailed out to each principal, and each school will be providing the name of one teacher, one staff member, and one parent or guardian who's not affiliated with FCPS beyond that parent or guardian role. And I'm opening up the opportunity to one or two board members, if you are interested in serving in this capacity, to hear some of the feedback and to hear some of the conversation that goes into the development of our school calendar. Our first meeting is going to be held via Google Meet on Thursday, January 30th at 1 o'clock. So if you're interested, please let me know. But I'm projecting that we will have a draft or a couple of drafts for the board to review in February as a first read. And with that, I will either take interest in a calendar committee or any questions that you might have.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Last we heard that our schools were being sanitized during Thanksgiving. Then we heard during the Christmas break. Were they ever sanitized?
Yes, ma'am, during both breaks. In fact, I was in on the Tuesday of Thanksgiving break, helping with our custodial team and doing some of that sanitation.
Next concern. I received emails requesting for Clorox wipes, sanitizers, and things like that. Is there any way that we can actually supply the schools with them? Because there is the norovirus, the RSV virus, and there are a lot of children being taken out of school. So is there any way we can put this on hand in the classrooms for them? Dr. Carter, someone?
Yes, ma'am, we can look at it.
Anything else for Dr. Walters? Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Dr. Ricks?
Okay. Good evening. Okay.
Dr. Ricks, can you sing or dance or anything like that?
If I sing, everybody's gonna run out. Technological. I don't know. Seems like you're just going a little slow. You want me to go? You want me to just go? I just go. Yeah, just move along. Which one did you have up first, Miss Davis? I have it. Which one is she? I have the presentations. Which one did you pull up first?
Okay, I have no idea because it's not even showing me the.
All right, well, I'll go with attendance. I got it. I got the hard copies. Okay, thank you. Oh, family engagement was first? Okay. All right. All right, so we're going to jump right into family engagement. All right, so some of our most recent news and initiatives that we have in place. Currently, our team's working with our pre-camp scholars students. Those are our students that have the opportunity to earn a full ride to Camp Community College. We currently have 42 students in that program, so our family engagement team is working with that population of students with specific interventions in their academics, as we view their academics now, their discipline, and also some other criteria that have to be in place. So they're working with them diligently to support them with those interventions. We also have facilitated the second 9 weeks for our Touch Base Parent Engagement Night. We have had a host of supplies and supporting families and just giving out notice of attendance and promoting attendance among our students and families. So we have seen increases at our elementary school, as well as we're still working to increase some of the participation at high school, but we have seen an increase in participation this year. Also, our students, our McKinney-Vento students, those are our students that have some challenges with materials and supplies, and we have provided those students with gift cards and also coats. So our attendance team and also our engagement specialists have made sure that every one of those students had a coat. So we're grateful for having those resources and our partners who participate with those. We've also are implementing health and fitness programs district-wide with the Girls on the Run at SP Morton and the Heart and Soul at FHS. So we will have those running this spring. We also aid in transportation and assistance with our families and our students who have some challenges with immunization and physicals. We have our family engagement team supporting those students by taking them also now to our ODU health base at JP King, and also with our mobile units and our students who need those things in place so that we can make sure that they are attending school. So that's all important as it pertains to them attending school. Also, we have networked with the local housing development to enact policies that will offer increased engagement and support. So our family engagement team has been tremendous in knocking on doors and going into these complexes and supporting the students and families. And our clothing closet continues to provide assistance as needed as well. So those are just some recent initiatives that I wanted to share with you all. We do have some upcoming dates and events that you are definitely invited to participate. We have Family Reading Night at SP Morton, January the 23rd at 5:30, and that's when we try to connect Title I, PTA, and student performances to get the massive participation that we've had. Jobs for Virginia informational session. We have currently 30 students in this program, and we will have a key informational session for them on January the 29th at JP King, and you're welcome to participate. We do have a group of students that will be visiting the Virginia General Assembly, House of Delegates, February the 6th, and we have up to 50 students that will be participating in that opportunity. Our next touch base will be March the 11th, which will also incorporate the spelling bee. So you will be able to see that as well, and that will be from 4 to 6, and touch base at Franklin High School, March the 11th, from 5 to 7. We also, as we get new partners and we continue to work with our partners, we have the Blackwater Regional Library, who recently at our touch base gave out books to all students. We have Early Child Western Tidewater, who's partnering with our elementary school and programs that we have for our families. Again, Girls on the Run and Heart of Soul. So we do support those new partnerships. Also, we're currently, as we transition with the MOD, we will have the Community and Parent Engagement Center at the high school with Mr. Cofield, and we will have that center at the elementary school room with Ms. Murphy, and the parents and families and staff will be able to gather resources for their classroom and gather resources for our families as we build those rooms. Definitely want to give Ms. Murphy and Mr. Cofield, who has recently joined our team and has been on the grounds running, some support tonight, because they've been doing a great job in making sure that these initiatives are implemented, not just through Parent Square with communication, but knocking on doors, because we know it takes more than just electronic. It takes going to the homes. It takes getting, supporting those families as they come in and you see those challenges as they're coming throughout our schools. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you. Any questions?
Dr. Riggs, can you put a plug in for the Pearson Center?
Yes. The Pearson Center, we are moving forward with the Pearson Center. We're looking to open the Pearson Center in February. We will have a grand opening when we have the CTE Expo in the later spring. However, we will be have the Pearson Center open about 3 days a week, 4 hours. So 8 hours a week. It'll be open rotating on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. So we're looking forward to that great opportunity, and we'll be able to administer assessments for students and also assessments for teachers who need specific licensures and credentials. So we're looking forward to that opportunity as well.
Will it be open to the community in February?
Yes.
Okay, so not just teachers and students?
Not just teachers and students. Of course, our teachers and students will have quick access to be able to take assessments, but we will have to open it up publicly. So it will be announced. We will have to share it with the public.
So just maybe explain how it benefits the public. I'm not sure everybody might know what a Pearson Center is.
Okay. Well, we had the details for that one. We will have the specific details. I want to let you all know outlined in the next board meeting, but I will briefly talk about it at this time as well. The Pearson Center is a center where we offer teacher assessment, students assessments, and we'll also be able to offer GED testing for the community, anyone that signs up for testing. So they will sign up for whatever test they desire to take, and then they'll be able to come to the Pearson Center to take those tests. We will have a Pearson Center testing center, and then we will have a check-in center. In the check-in center, we'll be able to promote different activities, different events that we have going on within the division, so that'll be an opportunity for promotion as well. But that's the main purpose of that center, is to provide assessments for different licensure, different criteria, different student assessments that they have to take as well.
And Ms. Council, what makes this unique is there's not another center within a 50-mile radius. So that's part of the criteria for it to be accepted. So this is something that is for the region. And so we will also be soliciting local businesses who may need licensure to come into the Pearson Center. And so this could also be a game changer for getting a highly skilled workforce.
Any questions?
Okay, yes, go into attendance. All right, so I'll jump into our attendance presentation. So as you can see here on this first slide, it's attendance percent year to date. So currently, SP Morton sitting for the 24-25 school year, we have approximately 90.99% of attendance so far at SP Morton, of our students attending school on an average. For FHS, we have 92.76%, and as you can see, there's not a number there for JP King because our 6th graders are at SP Morton and our 7th graders are at FHS. So we continue to maintain in the 90th percentile of attendance. Next slide, Ms. Davis. All right, so right now you can see over for the 24-25 school year, this is the percentage of unrecoverable students. For the 24-25 school year, we have 24 students at this time, and for FHS, we have a total of 18 students. And with those numbers of students that are unrecoverable, this is our opportunity now, as we have added to our attendance plan, for those students to participate in flexible instruction. So that's after-school tutoring. We get ready to have our all-in tutoring, which we will be targeting those population of students as well who are in this unrecoverable state. So they'll be able to recover up to 15 days. So we are working with those students as well. So totally, that's a total of 42 students that's in that category. And again, we want this number to continue to decline, not increase. So we at a good place with the unrecoverable students. And I didn't put the 21-22 data up here because I just did the 3 years, but the numbers were much higher as well in 21 and 22. So we want to continue to see a decline with this, and we also want to continue the interventions to catch these students that we already are identifying as unrecoverable. Okay, so some of the things that we've put in place to really get these numbers to where they are and encourage those high percentages of attendance and to target those populations of students, we definitely have an attendance incentive plan that we have at all schools. We are consistently developing positive partnerships. We have a multidisciplinary team that deals with social service, and also Western Tidewater. We have different supports from our school to come together and have these intervention meetings prior to going to court. So that's something that we have implemented this year. We continue to those partnerships with local housing agencies, the managers. We have them with our parent squares so they know, and then we also go out there with the calendars so that they know when school is open as well. We have the partnerships with social service and Western Tidewater Service Board. We also attend the judges' best practices meetings, flexible instruction opportunities, and we continuing to build those relationships with families. So those are some strategies that we're continuing to carry out. Daily membership, our ADM for attendance. Currently, January the 13th, we have a count of 1,063 students. And that's still preliminary at this time. On September the 3rd, 24, we had a total of 1,046 students, which is very preliminary at this time as well. September the 30th, 23 last year, at the end of that date in March, we had 950 students, in which we finalized with. March the 30th, 24, as you can see, for grades K through 12, we had 968. March the 30th, 23, we had 966 students K through 12. Our pre-K population is 59. We have 7 students are funded with special education, and 52 are VPI. And we currently now have that final spot filled, so we are completely full for our pre-K program. And we are estimating, just looking at the data, that we're going to have an increase of about 100 students. And again, hats go off to the attendance teams, also our staff here that's definitely continuing to work and support attendance and supporting with our increased number of students. Any questions?
Thank you, Dr. Ricks.
Mr. Holt, that concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you. No one signed up for citizens' time, so we'll move to school board comments. I just have 2 quick ones. Our school board member, Shonda Parker, represents Franklin Schools on the governor's school board in Petersburg. She also represents us on the governor's school in Norfolk. And this month, she was voted vice chair of both of those boards, so we'll congratulate her for that. Our 2 meetings in February will be on the 6th, which is a work session, and the 20th, which is a regular session. And in March, work session on the 13th and regular session on the 20th. Board members, what do you have?
So just to kind of go through some of the things, one, just very, very happy with the successful partnerships that our community engagement specialists have had with the community at both locations. It's actually very, very inspiring, and then to see that our numbers are coming up. So even if the parents don't say it, I'm saying thank you for what it is that you all do and working with the administrators at the schools to partner and make sure that the students are getting what it is that they need. besides just the academics. So thank you thank you so much for what it is that you all do.
I just had something really quick. I'm really excited about the Pearson Center because I think it's an example of how the school division is seeking to not just elevate itself, but seeking to elevate the community. So I hope that the Pearson Center is something that gets well publicized and it's understood by the community as the benefit that it really will be for all industries to get the certifications that they need and help people be able to advance in their careers. So I'm really excited about that. Thank you so much for the work on that.
There are people who want to take the test for real estate license, contractor's license, and usually you have to go to Richmond for something like that. Pearson Center will be available to do those testings too. So it's a really huge deal. And Dr. Carter had that idea and he really worked hard to get that. So thank you, Dr. Carter. Anything else? Do we have a motion to adjourn? Second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. We're adjourned.